We thought we had left the left's obsession with white supremacy back in 2020, but clearly we have not. They're still obsessed with it. So we're going to let you know everything you need to know to put a stop to it. Let's get started.
Welcome to Unleashed with the Patriot Sisters. Buckle up, girl, because we're about to spill that tea just like we did in 1773.
We light the fire under all things politics. And don't worry, social justice warriors, we'll light the fire underneath you too.
Why?
Because we're inclusive.
Prepare to be triggered. What does it actually mean to be a white supremacist? Like, genuinely asking. We get the whole white thing, that's your skin color. Like, anybody can think that one through. But like a supremacist, what is that? So we looked at the actual definition of supremacy, and it means this, word for word: the state or condition of being superior to all others in authority, power, or status. So I don't think I need to go into deeper explanation of what that means, but basically you're better than other people. And when you add the word a color like white, black, or an ethnicity like Asian, then you're saying because I'm XYZ color or nationality or whatever, or ethnicity, then you're better than someone, which is the dumbest thing ever. And there's a lot of dumb things that happen in the past couple years.
It's not only just, I mean, there are people who believe that.
Genuinely believe it,
but
and they're crazy.
But what we're saying is it's dumb by looking at the past couple events and shootings. There's been 2 shootings that have happened within the past week or so, and claiming that those are prime examples of white supremacy in this country is flat out wrong.
That's dumb.
Based upon the definition of supremacy, it's flat out wrong. And we're going to go deeper and break down each example and give you factual things you can share with
your friends, family, social media, whatever,
on things you can say to combat that. Because a lot of you ask us a lot, how do we what's the facts, what's the truth,
what should we say back
should
to
we
when
say?
People are like, oh my gosh, the events that happen in Boulder, Colorado, or Atlanta,
Asian
Georgia,
hate.
It's Asian hate, it's a hate crime, it's a form of white supremacy. No, honey, you're just you're like a broken record spewing whatever MSM is talking about. So let's not do that. Okay.
Let's be better.
Let's level up. Okay. It's 2021.
Let's do it.
Time to level up, ladies. Not saying you're doing that, but your friends probably are doing that.
But it's really dangerous lumping everybody together like mainstream media and these social justice warriors.
It's a big no-no.
It's scary. So what happened? We like to talk about history a lot.
Yeah.
We like to look to the past because the past can give us a lot of good lessons. Like they taught us that in school, right? Look to the past.
Why are we not implementing that as a society?
Why do we just forget all of a sudden?
Were we not paying attention in class? Were we just on our phones? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, so what happens when we lump a bunch of people together? Like, what does that look like?
Or even when you just lump a bunch of people who look a certain way.
Talk, act.
Religion. When we've done
politics.
When we've done that in history, it's never ended well. We have World War II. That's the Jews. That's the Holocaust. They lumped everybody together. Wasn't a good idea. Black people and slavery. Horrible, saying you're less of a human.
Even in the 60s with the Jim Crow laws. Awful.
And what we have today, lumping all white people together as some supremacist. If a white person does anything wrong, they're a white supremacist. No, how about they're just a bad person? Just like when a black person or an Asian person or a Hispanic person does something stupid, they're just a bad person or made bad choices.
It's like a deep cycle of contradiction, lumping a bunch of people together.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So... I don't know why are we doing it? Question of the day. Why are we still doing it?
I don't know. It's like but if you choose to stand up against it, which so many of you listening are, like what is that word we came across a couple like last week that was like a way to call a group of patriots? It was it used to use it. Compatriots.
Was that it?
That's what they used during the Revolutionary War, I think.
We were reading we were on the beach.
Oh, I was reading a magazine.
We were on the
historical
beach.
Magazine.
She was reading a magazine, and
I came across this.
Who was it about?
Paul Revere. Paul Revere.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look into that.
We're kind of like on a rabbit trail, reeling it back in. Okay, go.
So but if you choose to be the patriot who speaks up and call a spade because that's the truth.
No. You are not only deemed insert slur of vulgar words, but you're also a homophobic person. You're also like a bigot, and you're probably a white supremacist. Even if you're not white, you're probably labeled as one just because we like to assume things these days.
Right.
Which we're going to get into with some tweets and some people that have been assuming stuff recently.
Gonna get a little bit
A little tea we're going to spill. If you're not already heard about it. But anyway, so like it's a big no-no, and
it's really crazy.
It's stupid.
And whenever there's a surge in shootings, which by the way stopped under the Trump administration, we're literally like almost 3 months in, 2 months in.
Yeah.
2 months into the Biden thing. I'm not even gonna call it administration.
I'll say administration.
I'm not declaring him our president though. I won't admit it.
So weird. So weird. Ugh, it's such an ick.
But we've had so many horrible events.
Oh my gosh, it's awful.
Again, which that's a whole nother topic. But whenever we have a surge in these shootings in the country, these blue Twitter checkmark social justice warriors, which is they need to listen to this podcast. They take to Twitter declaring these truths, and they have hundreds of thousands and if not millions of people following them.
And it's just an opinion. And now there's nothing wrong with sharing your opinion, but don't act like your opinion is a fact. That's wrong. Okay? So, but people again don't really care these days. They're just not able to use their brain to the fullest capacity as once maybe our parents used to be able to do.
You know why? It's our phones. Just think of...
Is it the blue light? Do you need blue light glasses? No, I'm totally kidding.
I feel like my blue light glasses don't even work anymore.
What?
Listen, we're going to have a chat session real quick. I feel like my eyes actually are like getting worse. Like it's actually like scary. I spend 10, 11 hours a day on my phone or some kind of device. Not my phone, like scrolling through Instagram.
Think about how sad that is. That's like the
for
full
work.
Day. That I know.
And like I need on my lunch break, I won't even bring my phone down and like have lunch because I need to like give myself a break.
Like I'm like looking weird and like all over just because you got me freaked out. Ew. Okay.
Right?
Whatever.
I know. Okay.
Moving on.
I don't even know how that even happened. But there's this certain group in America that's like inherently, apparently like in their DNA, obsessed with categorizing anyone they seem fit together as one little group, one little mob.
Like people, the culture, and I don't know about other countries, but definitely here in the States, culture.
Here's a pro tip to anybody from another country. Don't speak upon American issues when you're not even an American. We don't speak upon British things that are happening in the UK.
We honestly stopped caring like in 1773 when we threw the tea in the harbor.
We were
Boston,
done.
We were like, we don't care. Moving on. Honestly, I guess the same time frame with the whole pine tree thing. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself and I'm spilling some stuff. But moving on. Okay. Anyway, sorry. There's just so much history that just people don't know about. It's so symbolic.
So people like to clump everybody together without any factual evidence, without any statistics or research.
It's such a social thing to do. Like, let's just put this group together and like add these people together. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that because, again, history has taught us it leads to deep, awful, bad cycles of contradictions that end up having a lot of people hurt. Literally and not literally. So I don't know why we're still doing that. Anyway, so...
Do you know what? I was just Googling something really quick.
Yeah.
So I was just Googling the definition of racism. Okay? And we talked about how there's this inherently fascination with grouping people together based upon the way they look. Mm-hmm. If you just Google the definition of racism, that literally is a definition of racism, grouping everybody together in a negative connotation based upon the way they look.
So you're trying to tell me that when people like to just jump to conclusions like a little bunny rabbit from Easter time and say, oh, this is a form of white supremacy. That's racism?
By definition, exactly. Wow. So we have all these people claiming that they're anti-racist, but they're literally living, eating, breathing racism.
Blue hair, pink hair, liberal social justice warriors know that?
Probably I don't know. So they this group of people, which is the left, or Democrats, or just brainwashed individuals.
Liberalism.
They base everything they do out of the spur of the moment. They tweet everything out of their feelings.
They go off of feelings, not facts.
And they do this literally. I am convinced they do this just to get people charged up, like just to create like this movement. And people don't realize how powerful these Sean Keens and these other people, Mena Harris, and like all these other people who are these social justice warriors, how much of a
they have power.
Yeah.
Immense power.
And we're nowhere near them, but you have power. Even if you have 10 people following you, you have a power and influence over those 10 people. Do it wisely.
Because those 10 people also can influence, just let's say it's only 10 people. You're now starting to accumulate a bunch of influence that you don't even know about.
Yeah.
So, like, don't ever let someone tell you that your voice is not worthy of being out there just because you don't have a lot of followers or whatever. That's bullcrap.
That's bullpucky.
That too.
Okay.
That's an archaic term.
But these people are doing this and creating these movements and tweets out of feelings, not facts. And I think I think they're way smarter than conservatives give them credit for. But they do this, I believe, to push their control or their movement of gun control, of these altering decisions to push their agenda. Like, they're smart about it.
That's true.
So I wouldn't put it necessarily past them. They know that if they can get 1 million or 3 million or 20 million people on board, like we saw what BLM did.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that changed the country.
It changed
through social media.
Forever.
Changed.
That's literally insane to me. I don't even get it.
And it's all based off of majority of this past year of white supremacy.
Yeah. Of
how racist this country is, and it's not. So it's really scary. And I wrote this down, and I'm going to read it just so I don't screw it up. Like we said, it's all to push their control and their idea of manipulation and control.
They are obsessed with control.
Which is the same thing that convinced people that slavery was okay. That
I don't know about y'all, but if you don't realize by now, every movie, I'm gonna take it back to Disney because I like Disney. Okay, now we're gonna do Disney princess movies because like those are still great. I don't care what you say, they're great. So if you look at all of the antagonists, I had to think about that one for a second. Woo, that was crazy. The antagonists in the storyline, what were they all like obsessed with? Controlling. Who were they always controlling? The main character, which ended up being the princess. So if you look at Cinderella, little Cindy over there, all right? So her stepmother was obsessed with that chick, with controlling her day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
Obsessed. And the moment Cinderella, little Cindy over there, okay, in the blonde hair and the blue dress.
Oh, you even have your hair up.
Oh my gosh, I do. It's so fun. Anyway, the moment Cindy was able to break free from that, her life instantly radically changed. The people around her lives that she was able to influence, wasn't a lot at the time, became a lot, was able to eventually, like, I don't know what I'm going with this. The point is that
she's able to think for herself.
She was a free thinker. She did her own thing, regardless of what other people were saying, regardless of the crazy hands-on claws of the people around her, stepmother and stepsisters. And I'm just saying, being obsessed with controlling other people apparently is more of a normal thing than we like to come to terms with, because the left is literally doing that to an entire nation made up of over 300 million people. And the crazy thing is they're kind of succeeding.
They're doing really well.
We're
going to look back on this one day and be like, we use this example a lot. This is what Hitler did. Mm-hmm. He was able to take control of a small group, started with a small group of people, take control over them, which their ideas spread. They didn't have social media, so it had to be.
It took a little longer.
But
it still
they took control.
Millions
of people. Convinced millions of people that it was okay to put Jews in camps for the betterment of the country.
Or even those that would try to protect a Jew, that they too should be put into camps.
It's what convinced people that Jim Crow laws were good and better for the country.
And that slavery was all right. Huh?
I'm sorry, but that's...
What?
Isn't that like a form of like the Jezebel spirit rearing its head?
Controlling
manipulation. That's Jezebel in the Bible. Google her.
Yep.
In the Bible.
All right. We're getting ahead of ourselves. So, again, reeling it in.
So, it's dangerous, though.
Yes.
It's very, very dangerous that this control and manipulation of white supremacy and pushing it on this country.
People love to jump to conclusions. But here's the irony and what has happened.
Let's have some fun.
I mean, it's not fun because actual people died, and that was Awful.
I wasn't saying fun about that.
No, I know, but I'm just saying in case somebody thought
Okay.
that, whatever. Okay, so here's the irony with what's happened in Colorado, for example. People were like, oh my gosh, it's a form of white supremacy. Here we go again. Let's ban guns. That will solve everybody's issue. No,
It's
Sherlock,
not
it's not. In fact,
to.
it's going to do the exact opposite and cause more shootings to happen. But besides that point, the irony is this.
So when Atlanta happened, which was when the guy
Atlanta. I think I said Colorado.
you said Colorado.
I mean,
I knew what you meant.
Atlanta.
It's got to go in succession here.
Okay,
right?
Go.
So Atlanta, a girl named Nina Harris, she's on Twitter. She's a social justice warrior. Look her up at your own discretion. She said, and I quote, "The Atlanta shooting was not even a week ago. Violent white men are the greatest terrorist threat to our country." Terrorist threat. All right, let's hold on to that. Remember the word terrorist and how she equated the Colorado incident.
Colorado.
With being a terrorist. Okay? Biggest threat, white men in the country. Okay. I think it's actually people like her, but what do I know? Okay.
You're just a white blonde.
I'm just white blonde.
What do you know?
I don't know anything.
Good golly.
Okay.
Get in your spot. Get in your lane.
Which this in and of itself is very funny because her tweet literally is making a generalization based upon somebody's skin color.
Huh.
Saying that
is that
violent white men.
Racist?
No,
wouldn't be.
Which we talked about is a very dangerous thing.
That was sarcasm for those that might not.
If you're not watching on YouTube.
Sarcasm.
Yeah. Okay. She later actually deleted the tweet saying that she made an assumption. I can't tell if this was like more sarcastic or not, but needless to say, she said that she made an assumption and that she didn't say she was wrong, but whatever. Yeah. Which props to her. We like to give credit where credit is due, and she owned up to maybe making a generalized statement. Since then, she's been a little bit quiet. That on Twitter.
I probably would be too. Let's be honest. I would like to be silent.
So let's talk about Colorado, okay?
Okay.
You want to go for it?
No.
Okay. So
you want me to be the one to spearhead that?
I'll start and you add.
Like killed. No. Okay, go on.
And those who are
Strong
watching,
words.
I'm looking down because I have the quotes in front of me, so I don't want to
we have our notes.
Make it up. Okay, so the moment the horrific shooting in Boulder, Colorado took place is when these Twitter warriors, these blue checkmark leaders, quote unquote, began immediately pointing the blame at white supremacy. It's like the moment Colorado was trending, they all went, white supremacy, and the white supremacy radars went off. White supremacy, you can't blame it on just being a bad person, but what's the color of their skin color?
And what's the color of their skin color?
Yeah, whatever, you know what I meant.
And here's how...
When I talk in a little voice like this, not as much oxygen gets to my brain.
Like a mask?
Oh, wow.
So funny.
Wait. We were talking to a manager at Joanne a couple weeks ago, and she made me put on a mask over my mesh mask.
Oh, she made her double up.
And I did it just because I was talking with her and I was trying to get somewhere, and I didn't want her to walk away. I literally looked at her and I said, hold on a second. I'm so sorry. Like, I can't breathe. Like, I'm getting lightheaded. I can't think. Just a second. And I was like, I literally couldn't think.
That's actually really sad.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. So here's what, you want to know something that's hilarious? So
these are what these Twitter guys are saying.
Right. So the shooter in Colorado, right, the incident that just happened, horrific. He is a Middle Eastern man who not only hates Trump, but has shown sympathies to, believe it or not, ISIS. Of course.
On a social media, on specifically Facebook. And guess what Facebook did?
Of course, they conveniently scrubbed that part of his Facebook and everything. Why would they not? I mean, duh, it's Facebook. Anybody could think that one through.
You mean somebody who's not? Because most of the time, white supremacists are categorized as Trump supporters, as you and I.
Like a KKK member.
Right, which we're not. We believe very differently from a horrible KKK member.
A lot of people do. In fact, a majority of America.
Yeah.
Both sides of the spectrum, politically wise, believe that they're crazy. But go on.
So this
guy's crazy, okay? The Boulder shooter is crazy.
The moment the facts came out and people found on his social media that he hated Trump and he supported ISIS, they had to get rid of the facts because people can't know the truth. They can't know that, maybe he was radicalized. And guess what? He's from Syria. He was born in Syria, mostly raised in the United States, but he's Syrian by birth.
And he has shown sympathies, so, applauding, basically, towards ISIS. And, of course, we have big tech, as always, stepping in to protect those that they find to be like-minded.
And which is very funny. We're going to go back to what Mina Harris said.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
And how she said violent white men are the greatest terrorist threat to the country. Remember we said that? Mm-hmm. He's not white by definition. I mean, sure, you can look at his skin color. He's probably more white than looking black. But the left likes to go off of identity politics. And based upon identity politics, they would say that he's 100% Middle Eastern, which he is by birth. He's 100% Middle Eastern. So terrorists actually are very common in that area of his country where he was from. Right. So he's not actually a white terrorist. He's actually a Middle Eastern terrorist in the country. So
that, again, we're clumping people together based upon how they look.
Right.
I'm not really sure. There's so many questions I have for people like this.
Remember Pocahontas?
Yes.
And how she
John Smith, Pocahontas.
No, I'm talking about the...
Oh, like the fake Pocahontas. Oh, the funny Pocahontas. Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, okay.
And how she's like...
I think like the real Pocahontas. Like, yeah, it was a great movie. I loved it.
Back to Disney Princess.
The little raccoon and everything. I can't think of his name, but like it was great.
Apparently that show's racist, or that movie. Anyways.
So dumb.
So remember when she took her
little test.
DNA test and it came back that she said, "Oh, I'm Native American."
And it was like, no, you're really not.
She was like 0.2% or even less than that.
She's probably... the percentage of her Native American DNA is probably the same percentage of black in my DNA. Like, let's be... Hi, I identify as black now. Like, that's what she basically did for being Native American.
But the left ran with it. They said, "Oh, no, she's Native American. You're being so racist towards her."
They defended her. Like, Facebook defended the shooter of Colorado. Oh, that's so sad.
Our flag just fell. Oh, well. Okay.
I'm going to go for it.
So the left, even if you have, let's say, 0.1% of something in you, they will clump you as that.
Yes.
So we're looking at this horrible guy from Colorado. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have American in him, like both of his parents, and he was born in Syria. He's 100% an immigrant.
Which is great. Immigrants are great.
Yes.
But immigrants are not great if they continue to bring their radical ideas into America that goes strictly against the core foundation of what makes this country so fantastic.
So let's talk about Tariq Nasheed. He is on Twitter. I looked at his Twitter.
God bless you and your soul.
I'm going to make you look at it afterwards.
I don't want to look at that.
You should look at it. Like those listening, just because. Okay. But he's the very definition of racist and someone who's obsessed with identity politics. His Twitter bio even says, quote, I bait racists and expose them. AKA he's a full-time cancel culture employer.
How awful.
Like that's who.
That's so sad.
That's who people are listening to. He's like a mini Sean Keen in the making.
It's just great.
So Tariq said, I'll let you read this one.
So he said, quote, the fact that this dude gunned down 10 people and the police didn't shoot his ASS or butt, okay, that means he's white. We ain't gonna start playing games just because he was born in Syria. End quote. So apparently the suspect, the shooter in Colorado,
is white enough.
White enough. Hold on. I'm taking a pause. I'm pausing because my brain is trying to comprehend.
Trying to catch up.
Because it makes no sense.
Yeah. So this guy, Tariq, who's pretty big, is saying that the suspect was white enough to benefit from the privileges
of whiteness. So you're trying to... Oh my gosh. Wait, people believe that?
People believe him. He got a lot of retweets. Like him and Ilhan Omar retweet each other. Like he's not just a nobody. So let's break down this one tweet, and we're just picking a couple just to show you an example of.
So the suspect who is white.
Really, that was in quotes.
Because it's quotes, right? He's not really white. He's actually Middle Eastern, so he's like what, brown? Is apparently,
unless he kills somebody, then he's white. But if he comes here into this country, he's oppressed.
That life. How does that?
It just doesn't make sense. So let's break down just his tweet, okay?
Okay.
So, yes,
He did gun down 10 people.
Yes.
That's a fact.
People did lose their life. It was 10. It might have even been more eventually that have come out. Right. I haven't researched that part. But there were a lot
of people.
Too many. One is too many. But he made a claim that the police didn't shoot him. When in fact, the suspect, which we're not saying his name because he's not worthy of that, he was shot in the leg by the police, so that part of the tweet's not right. But don't worry, it's getting a lot of retweets. People like it. Okay? And and I get people say, oh my gosh, a white guy doesn't get shot by police.
Oh, there's like this whole thing on Facebook going around. It's like a little collage, and it's a white, black of all these people that have shot and killed someone. Mm-hmm. And for the white, it says, arrested. And then for the black person, it says killed. Inherently by a police officer and unarmed. And I'm just like,
it doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
So remember Michael Brown? It happened
because this is go on.
Oh, sorry. Were you gonna say something else?
No.
Did I interrupt you?
No, you did
You can slap me on the hand.
You didn't interrupt me. Like I'll slap you. Like I happily do that.
Okay. So remember Michael Brown, the teenager who was shot by police, and was that Kenosha?
Wisconsin. No.
Honestly, all these cities, I'm getting mixed up. Okay, years ago.
There was this one that started it all.
Yeah, this started BLM really.
Was it in Missouri, Mississippi? Oh my gosh, I don't know. There's so many. That's awful.
I'm pretty sure you were like a freshman in high school when this happened.
I was probably a freshman. I was young.
We were young.
I don't remember.
The difference between
I just remember there being a lot of riots.
Michael and this guy from this week is that they were both shot by cops. First of all, the reason one is dead and one is alive is Michael didn't stop running after the police. He decided to keep going even after he was shot. Mm-hmm. This guy from this week was shot and he decided to stop. If he hadn't stopped, he would have died, which would have probably screwed up the left's narrative.
Yeah,
a little bit.
No, because there were tweets about him being white, even though he was not white.
Well, that's true.
Here's the thing, guys. If you are, let's say hypothetically, let's imagine, okay, let's use our imagination. You're an officer. Somebody's running towards you. They've clearly killed somebody. They have
or
a
even
weapon
if they're
in
not
their
running
hand.
Towards you.
Even if they're not, whatever. When you have your gun as an officer and you draw it towards them.
And this is the SWAT team that arrived.
Right. So
they're trained.
However you fit into that picture. You pull your weapon and you draw it on the suspect or whatever. I'm pretty sure they're not looking at the color of their skin being like, is he black? Maybe I won't draw on him. Is he Asian?
Maybe I'll just shoot him in the leg.
I can't, yeah, I'll just
not in the chest.
Lower. No, that's not what's happening in their mind. I can guarantee you that. They could care less about the color of their skin. All they're worried about is taking care of the suspect, making sure he is not in custody
and not hurting anybody else
or himself.
Neutralize
the threat.
The threat, and
then helping the others after the threat has been neutralized. They don't care about the color of your daggum skin. Why are we still making that a thing? Why is that the literal plot of every story? It's boring. I can literally figure out what the plot of the story, the next major news event is going to be.
And
bad journalism is what it is.
They're getting old. It's getting old. Mundane. So the last part of Tariq's quote or Twitter tweet said, the suspect
you do not do social media.
No, I don't do Twitter. The suspect is white enough to benefit from the privileges of whiteness. So I want to say one last thing about this. When the Syrian refugees and people from other countries who come to America, they always get painted as the victims and how it's so hard for them because of white supremacy and the oppression that this god-awful country gives, even though they're fleeing here, so it can't be that bad. Except when they do something stupid like this and they automatically switch from being oppressed to benefiting from the privileges of whiteness. So I'm telling you, when does that switch? And how do I get it?
Oh, I would love that.
Like,
seriously. Love some privileges. Shoot, wouldn't you?
But do you see what we're saying? Like, you can't have it both ways.
You gotta pick and choose. What is it? Are you all of a sudden now oppressed here in the greatest country on earth? Or are you benefiting from white privilege? But then if you are benefiting from white privilege...
There goes the flag.
This is really unfortunate. If it falls, I will grab it. Do not worry. So it's not touching the ground right now. So what is it?
You can't
white
have it both
privilege
ways.
or you're oppressed.
We are sick and tired of identity politics and categorizing everybody as the same. We're tired of racism, and we're tired of it coming from the left. We're over it. You know, the left hates it when people, quote unquote, categorize people. You know, when Trump said that all Mexicans are racist or rapists.
Quote unquote, all, it's not what he said, but
He didn't say that.
he did not say that.
Or when the left claims that all conservatives say that all black people, all black men are thugs, which that's
Again,
never been said.
It's not true.
But they can say white people are inherently racist and supremacists. It just doesn't make sense.
No. And again, what do I always say, y'all? It's one of my favorite things to say here. The left doesn't make sense because they have no sense. They have no logic to back them up. They don't operate from a level of wisdom at all.
And I truly do believe I could get on board with some of the left's beliefs. Preface this.
Okay.
If
like
they didn't
what?
always contradict themselves.
Oh.
Like
Maybe.
can we not always contradict ourselves? Like, can we actually put Americans first? And yes, we're called to help our neighbors, but there's a reason when the airplane's going down and you have the oxygen mask come on, what do they say? Please help yourself and then help your kids. They say don't even help your kids before you help yourself.
True.
So why?
True.
Oh, the flag's going. Just rip it. Don't rip the flag, but rip it. Okay. It's not touching
Don't
the
worry,
ground.
it's not touching the ground. It's in my hands.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, the left, we might take you more seriously if you were consistent with your
beliefs and point of views.
Yeah.
So Representative Ilana Mar, right, that girl.
She was too bad. She's a gorgeous
Where is
girl.
she from? She's from the Middle East. What country in the Middle East? I'm Googling that.
I don't know. I don't know. But I will tell you this. It's really too bad that she has been spewing such
from Somalia.
such hate and divide recently, because she's a gorgeous girl. She would have so much more going for her.
Yeah.
I'm not saying just because she has a pretty face means she can only do something with that. I'm just saying it's a great asset, especially with social media, since we're looking at our phones all day.
Right.
Grab your attention. Oh wow, she has logic. Just kidding. She doesn't. She's one of the lefties. It's really too bad. Speaking
of social media and what she said on Twitter is, I actually think she made a great point. Okay, in the beginning of her tweet, it was a bunch of crap, and I excluded that. I'm not going to share that. But the second half, I was like, homegirl, yes, that's some truth, okay? She tweeted out saying, quote, narratives drive our responses to awful crimes committed against innocent people. Pay attention to these responses and who is targeted. She actually is right.
That's truth.
It's true. Preconceived narratives drive people's responses to crimes committed. Preconceived, for those who don't know, like it's previous.
It's planned, or not planned, but it's like preconceived.
It's
preconceived.
You already. It's like if
it's been meditated upon.
You already made a decision.
You've already thought it through. It's kind of.
It's
in your
like
mind,
when you want to try broccoli, but you have
this idea that you've thought of for a long time
that you hate broccoli.
Yeah.
You're gonna not like broccoli. Like you're coming in with a
bad vibe. Wow, right. That sounded so liberally.
So here
lefty.
Are you okay?
I'm not okay. It's good.
I'm not okay.
It's okay.
Okay, so here on the Patriot Sisters Unleashed podcast and everything that we do, we try to keep preconceived narratives out of what's happening. So much. We're gonna talk about for like 30 seconds.
Ooh. This guy in Kentucky, he's an actual white guy, not like the one who identified as
like he's from Kentucky. Like he's white.
Homeboy's white.
Like he's from the Midwest. We're Midwesterns.
He's white as Wonder Bread.
Okay.
He's like us, white.
Okay. Very white.
So an incident happened with him.
He was fatally shot by a police officer during a simple traffic stop. So he got pulled over and he was shot by a police officer.
And he died from that gunshot wound.
And do you know why he was shot?
Why?
Tell us why. Okay, I'll tell you why.
Oh, okay.
He was
I'm sorry. I'm tired.
It's been a long day.
I had 4 hours of sleep last night.
Oh, that makes sense.
I did not sleep last night.
But do you know why he was shot? He pulled a gun on the officer. So what did the officer do?
He shot his gun on the suspect and defended himself, as he should have done.
So,
but did the officer look at the guy from Kentucky and be like, oh, wait, What color are you again?
You're white. Ooh, you
yeah.
got white privilege.
Yeah, no.
You didn't have Joel Patrick's white privilege card. Officer!
Got my privilege card. You actually can't touch me.
No, the guy was stupid. He pulled a gun on an officer and he lost his life, unfortunately, because of it.
But his actions dictated those exact results. Simple as that.
Whereas if a black guy was pulled over, or any other ethnicity that the left likes to victimize, pulled a weapon on an officer.
Same scenario, same, end results panned out.
It would be BLM all over.
We would, and what are we in? End of March? Yeah, so we're a couple of months ahead of the time frame of last year when the riots of summer 2020 happened because of which was a bad incident, by the way, of George Floyd happened. But you would never have seen the magnitude of outrage.
I know what I need to do.
A white person.
I know what I need to do.
What?
I need to have protests and riots over this guy who died.
Should we start?
He was gunned down by a cop.
Defund
the police.
He was victimized. There's sarcasm happening right now. I just think I need to say that. No, because he, unfortunately, put himself in that situation to have negative consequences like that. That, caused his life. So, with that being said, we like to go from facts. Most conservatives, if not all conservatives, like to do that. And I know you all like to do that too because you're listening and watching our podcast right now. So thank you.
If you have a friend who likes the whole BLM thing and painting that victimhood, tell them no, the mainstream media isn't talking about this incident because it doesn't fit their narrative. But it's the same formalities that's happened forever in this country.
It's a rhyme. It's a similar tune.
So what we learned from this, I hope you learned the same. White supremacy is unfortunately here to stay.
Because the left is obsessed with it.
And the only question we have for you is, what are you going to do about it?
Are you going to fall into agreement with them, or are you going to go against the wave?
Are you going to stick up for truth, or are you going to just turn around and not want to get into, quote unquote, an argument, which arguing actually is not bad.
No.
Arguing is great. We need more arguing in this country. Civil arguing.
Because arguing simply means you come to a different person with a set of different beliefs coming from a foundation of facts.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually basically called a conversation, but we just have another term for it called arguing. It's a normal thing.
We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was a little bit longer than normal, so bear with us. Let us know if you like it or hate it. There's just a lot going on and a lot to break down, but we're going to do a Patriot of the Week.
Yes.
So if you want to be a Patriot for this week, the next coming podcast, you need to go to Apple Podcasts, type in Unleashed with the Patriot Sisters.
Our faces will pop up. That's us.
We need to redo that photo, I feel like.
We do.
Leave a 5-star review. 5 stars with words, right? It has to have like a review with words. Post it. We will see it. Help us because we have some haters who went on and gave us bad ratings.
And once the rating goes up, it never comes back down. And the ratings are hateful.
They're hateful.
And mean.
So
I'm pretty sure I didn't even listen to a podcast.
I'm pretty sure none of them do.
Lame.
So go do that, and then we will give you a shout out. We'll pick one of you to do a shout out for our next week's episode.
So this week, Patriot is
Live, Love, Dance 28. And she, I'm assuming it's she, said, you read it.
Okay. She said, again, assuming, whoops, sorry. So finding this podcast is probably one of the few good things of this past year. Oh my gosh. First off, thank you. I love these girls. Aw. They are smart, informed, and honestly feel like friends. Perfect mix of what you need and want in a podcast. My long lost best friends. Girl, you're my long lost best friend too. I know. Where we're gonna hang out.
It's like
Let's do it mask free.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like we lost all of our really close friends, except for like 2 of them this past year. But we gained like 40,000 other ones.
Oh, I know.
You guys are amazing.
You guys are great. I wish we could just like meet up in person. It'd be so much fun.
You never know.
All right. So before we end this, make sure you go to thepatriotsisters.org/email. Sign up for our emails. We don't send a lot, but when we do, they're super important, valuable, and also have potentially future golden nuggets that you're not going to want to miss. Okay.
It's going to be great. As always, don't forget to rise up,
stand tall,
and fight back with truth.
We'll see you in the next one.